Today we're gonna talk about one of the most powerful tools you can have in your French toolkit, the present conditional. Think about all these super common everyday things: ordering a coffee, talking about your dreams, asking for advice, making plans with your friends. They all get so much smoother when you use the conditional. So here's our plan. We'll start with the why, then jump into the how for both regular and those tricky irregular verbs. Then we'll get into the fun stuff, all its main uses, and we'll wrap up by tackling those famous if sentences. By the end of this video, you'll have this down. Oh, by the way, the last use, hypothetical sentences, is the most important usage of this grammar, so stay till the end. First up, how do we actually build this thing? Forget any complicated grammar charts you've ever seen. The formula is honestly beautiful. For the verbs ending in ER or IR, you just take the full verb, the infinitive form, and then you just stick the imperfect tense endings right onto the end. For example, for the verb manger, to eat. Now, keep the whole thing and just add the endings. So we have je mangerai, I would eat, tu mangerais, you would eat, il, elle, on mangerait, he, she, or one would eat, nous mangerions, we would eat, vous mangeriez, you would eat, il, elle, mangerait, they would eat. Now there is one tiny little exception. For verbs ending in RE, like prendre, you just need to drop that final E before you add those endings. Simple as that. So prendre becomes je prendrai, tu prendrais, il, elle, on prendrait, nous prendrions, vous prendriez, il, elle prendrait. The rule applies for the other verbs ending in RE. Craindre, je craindrais, éteindre, j'éteindrais, joindre, je joindrais, battre, je battrais. Now, what do we do about the irregular verbs? Do not worry. If you already know your irregular stem for the simple future tense, you're basically done. It is the exact same stem. All you do is swap out the future endings for those imperfect endings we just looked at. So here are the big ones, the most important ones. Être becomes je saurai. Avoir, j'aurai. Aller, j'irai. Faire, je ferai. Pouvoir, je pourrai. Vouloir, je voudrais. Devoir, je devais. Savoir, je saurais. You get these 8 down, and honestly, you've got like 90% of the irregular verbs you'll ever need in a normal conversation. Okay, so we know how to form it. Now we get to the real fun part. When and why we use it. It's time to put our new tool to work in some real life situations. This is probably the most common use you'll ever hear. Politesse, politeness. Instead of saying je veux un café, which can come across as a bit blunt or demanding, you just say je voudrais un café s'il vous plaît. It just softens everything and turns a command into a polite request. Or when you want to ask for the time and you want to sound polite, you can say pourriez-vous me donner l'heure? We also use the conditional to talk about our wishes, souhait, and dreams, rêve. They're mostly said with je voudrais or j'aimerais, which means I would like to. It's the perfect way to talk about all those things you fantasize about or hope to do someday. It's the language of daydreaming. An example for this would be j'aimerais aller aux États-Unis cet été, which means I'd like to go to the United States this summer. Ever want to give someone advice without sounding like you're bossing them around? The conditional is your best friend. Tu devrais means you should. It's so much gentler than saying tu dois. It makes your advice feel like a helpful suggestion, not an order. An example. Tu devrais faire plus de sport, which means you should exercise more. Oh, this is a fantastic one. It's a super common and casual phrase for making suggestions. Ça te dirait de. It basically means how about we, or would you be up for? It's so friendly and natural when you're making plans with someone. So, ça te dirait d'aller au cinéma means something like, hey, what would you say if we go to the cinema together? Or would you be up for it to go to the cinema? You'll see this one all the time in the news. Journalists use this conditional when they're reporting on something that isn't 100% confirmed yet. So in Le chanteur préparerait un nouvel album, when you hear that a singer préparerait un album, it means he's reportedly or allegedly preparing it. It's like saying, you're hearing this, but we don't have all the facts yet. Alright, let's dive into the most grammar heavy part of this, but I promise it's totally logical. We're talking about hypothetical situations, those what-if scenarios where you connect a condition with a possible outcome. So the first structure is for talking about a what-if situation that's contrary to your reality right now. The formula is always the same. You start with si plus a verb in the imperfect or imparfait, and the result of that if is in the present conditional. Si j'avais de l'argent, je partirais en voyage. It means if I had money, I would go on a trip. The unspoken reality is that I don't have any money right now. Therefore, the consequence, je partirais en voyage, I would go on a trip, is also just a hypothesis. Okay, more examples now. Si j'étais toi, je ferais mes devoirs. If I were you, I would do my homework. S'il avait le temps, il viendrait à la fête. If they had the time, they would come to the party. S'il faisait beau, j'irais me promener dans le parc. If the weather were nice, I would go for a walk in the park. So, there you have it. The conditional is your key for politeness, for wishes, for advice, for all those what-if scenarios. You've officially got the tools. So I'll leave you with this one question to ponder. What if you were in France right now? What's one thing you would do? Write for me in the comments and I'll correct you if you answer wrong. And also, tell me what should my next video be about.